Coming to you from deep inside the bowels of a great big empty. Get ready for another episode of The Home Defense Show with Skip Coryell.
And that was Golden Glenn, the official announcer of the Home Defense Show, and I'm your host, Skip Coryell, author of 22 books, Marine Corps veteran, founder of the Second Amendment March, proud father of 7, grandfather to 19 and counting, and as a special bonus, I'm also madly in love with my own wife. My priorities in life are God, family, and country in that order, and I hereby promise to never compromise in my convictions. I may go broke, but I'll never go woke. And joining me today is my faithful co-host, Sunny Sara, smiling Sunny Sara Coryell. Sara, welcome back to the Home Defense Show.
Thank you. It's wonderful to be here.
I shouldn't have to welcome you. It's like you never really left.
Well, I don't hang out in the office very much.
Oh, okay.
It's also the pantry, so I do come in frequently for
Well, I'm so
and
glad that you didn't leave. All right, there is a strange smell in our house today, and I don't think I had anything to do with it. What are you cooking up?
Is it a good smell or a bad smell?
I'm undecided. I'm hoping it's not for dinner. Let's just put it that way. What are you making?
I'm attempting to make a cream that will help with some certain itching going on in the family.
Oh, a topical cream?
A topical cream. It's not meant to be eaten. Don't worry. I think what you're really smelling is a tea tree oil, but it's a blend of like tea tree and rosemary and eucalyptus.
Folks, she is very proper. She's talking about jock itch medicine. Okay, I just got the Death Star look here. All right.
I don't want to talk about it, but I'd like it to go away.
I hope it works.
I hope so too. I mean, it's only been a problem for a pretty long time now.
Yeah, well, our 2 boys are complaining about it.
Maybe we shouldn't talk about this. Might embarrass the boys.
Oh, well, we just won't let them listen to this episode. Problem solved. Okay. All right. Other than that, we're just doing...
Besides that, Amethyst is mixing the smell with making homemade tortillas, which lectin-free. We've been working on homemade tortillas.
As long as we don't get the jock itch medicine and the tortillas mixed up, we'll be fine.
Actually, since it's homemade, it's probably all fine, but it might give you, who knows if it would hurt your stomach. Probably not. Stomachs are pretty tough, but yeah.
How did we get on this topic? I can't believe you brought that up.
Smell.
Oh, okay. So, Sara, what do we have on the show today?
Today, we are talking to self-defense instructor Craig Gray all about training injuries as you age and how to heal.
Training injuries as you age.
So important, actually.
Oh, gosh, yeah. My back right now is killing me. I hope he has some good advice.
So when do you think people start noticing that they're aging and that they have to watch out? Like, do they spend most of their life in this category, or is it?
Well, I think probably... For most people, it's somewhere around 30 because that gives them time to get out of shape.
So you finish growing up about 20.
Yeah.
And you
spend about 8 years in your prime.
Well, that was
and then it's
10,
downhill.
But yeah.
It's like downhill
for
the rest
years,
of your
right?
life.
After
Yeah.
that, probably.
You're slowly dying.
Yeah. So this should apply to everybody. Everybody's going to be very excited about this conversation with Mr. Craig Gray. Then we'll be talking with Van Wynn from Georgia about the correlation between drugs and crime in the shootingclasses.com self-defense report.
Yeah. Van, he's good. You know, I like the Georgia accent anyways, but he spent 26 years as a special agent with the DEA, so he knows all about drugs and crime. So that should be a good conversation. Mm-hmm. But before we get too far into the show, let's thank our sponsors, United States Concealed Carry Association, shootingclasses.com, Center Shot Indoor Gun Range, Trinity Training and Security, and Apple Tree Media. All right, Sara, what's in the news today?
There's a Walmart stabbing show flaw in gun control logic. An editorial by Marcy Janovic that originally appeared in the Detroit News on August 6th. Last weekend, a man walked into a Walmart in Traverse City and stabbed 11 innocent people at random in a brutal act of violence. The scene was horrifying, but thankfully, everyone survived. The media covered the initial shock. The politicians issued generic statements, But something's missing. Something that always seems to go missing when the narrative doesn't fit. No one is talking about knife control. Why is that? A knife was used to commit mass violence, just as we've seen before with hammers, axes, even cars. These are real tragedies carried out without a single bullet fired, and yet no one is proposing sweeping legislation to regulate or ban knives or to require background checks before buying a truck. Because deep down we all know the glaring truth. It's not the object that commits the violence, it's the person. But the moment a firearm is involved, the story changes. The headlines explode. Politicians scramble to propose more restrictions. And the blame shifts from the criminal to the tool they used. This double standard isn't just frustrating, it's dangerous. It distracts from real solutions, and it deliberately ignores the fact that, in Traverse City, a law-abiding citizen with a firearm stopped the attack before more people were stabbed. When police arrived at the scene, the alleged attacker had already been restrained, held at gunpoint by a shopper. But Traverse City shows the flaw in that logic. The attacker didn't use a gun, he used a knife. Would a red flag law have prevented it? Would a gun ban have saved those people? Of course not. The answer isn't to criminalize gun ownership. It's to crack down on actual criminals, take real threats seriously, and enforce the laws we already have against people who have proven themselves violent and dangerous. This is an important moment in Michigan and across the United States. It's time to stop pretending the tool is the problem and start focusing on the truth. Dangerous people are the threat, and guns in the hands of the right people save lives.
Well, it makes sense to me, but I'm always baffled about why these politicians, why do they keep trying to do the same thing over and over and over again, like ban guns, to stop violence? There's a lot of things in common that all of these mass shooters, mass killers, that they have in common. And that basically is they've got mental issues. You know, the vast majority of them, they're on psychotropic drugs or they're just flat out evil. They have a rap sheet like a mile long. They've already committed violence over and over and over again. Sometimes they use guns, sometimes they use knives, sometimes they use cars, sometimes they use their bare hands. But I still do not understand. It doesn't make sense to me that because one person A, uses an object to hurt someone, so the answer to ensure that no one ever gets hurt again by that object is to ban the object.
So you just pointed out that they don't always use that paradigm, right? Because if it's a knife, they don't
Yeah,
follow the rabbit hole. If it's a vehicle, they don't follow the rabbit hole. If it's their bare hands, they just leave it alone. If it's not the right nationality of person, they may also leave it alone if they choose.
correct.
Okay, so they only pick certain ones,
They're inconsistent.
except that they're very consistent. So what are they doing? They're training us. Why are they training us? For what purpose?
Control.
That's what control of only certain things.
We're inside the matrix.
Of only certain things. So there were, yeah, it's specific things, obviously.
Yeah. Well, it's like they instinctively know that if someone runs over someone with a car on purpose, if they ban cars, what is that going to do? We would all
Our society
revolt.
wouldn't really work very well
Yeah.
that way.
It wouldn't, well, society wouldn't work. People would revolt. They'd stand up and say, "Are you out of your minds?" But they choose one object that's easier to demonize, and that is the gun.
So you think it would go from, well, I guess in Europe it goes from the gun to the knife, right?
Well, I just read an article last week where they're banning a class of knives in England, making people register their knives, get permits to own knives.
These like swords, or are they knives? Or should it
They
even
are
matter? I don't.
they are knives, a certain class of knives, like machetes, swords, blades, that are so
My little
long.
brother had a machete when we were growing up. It was part of his set
Yeah,
of toys.
well,
A real machete, like it worked.
I, yeah, exactly.
Not that he tried it on me.
Exactly.
He tried it on the trees like he
Yeah.
was supposed to. Good boy.
Yeah, but I think she raises a really good point here.
It's
It-
not helping us to misdirect
No.
and aim at the
No.
wrong thing.
Well, and what places, in our society have the highest violent crime rates.
Well, the inner city, I suppose.
Yeah, the same places with the most gun control laws. They have the most gun violence. You know, what is a gun? It's a piece of metal and polymer.
I wonder what would happen if we really focused, if we did free CPL classes in the inner cities and got more people to have guns in the inner city, like law-abiding ones, if that would slow things down a little
Well,
bit.
I think
The grandmas.
yeah, yeah. Well, John R.
Only half
Lott,
that one.
he wrote a whole book about it called "More Guns, Less Crime."
Yeah.
That's what the stats do. The more guns in honest, law-abiding citizens' hands, the less crime that you have.
But I wonder if those are the people who are the most afraid to get them for some
They
reason.
are the ones that are most afraid.
I ran across a long time ago, I think she was, I think she was black. Honestly, I don't remember for sure. It was this older lady who had a whole bunch of grandkids that were in and out of her house all the time, and we were just getting married. So
How could you not know whether or not she's
I
black?
just don't remember precisely,
Oh,
but it
okay.
seemed like she was
I
black.
think you're racist. You are a racist.
What I remember was she was tiny and she'd had a hard life. You could just tell it was all over her, but she had all these kids, and she was very somehow. We were just getting married, so I was there like at I think it was a wedding dress place actually, and we were talking about you and what you did for a living and the CPL classes and stuff. And she's like, "Oh, I can't have a gun." I'm like, "Why not?" She's like, "Because my grandkids might get a hold of it." So well, she might really need it to protect them potentially, right? She
Hmm.
was I mean, it was a legitimate fear to
Sure. But the
but who
fear
would get a hold of it?
didn't extend to all of her knives. And I guarantee you, she's probably got
She
20, 30
pretty
knives.
good with a knife.
Yeah.
Those were strong arms that had taken care of a lot of people.
They can both be used as deadly weapons. So it's just the gun. The far left has chosen the gun. That is going to be the evil villain. And we're going to, and I think you have a good point there. You know, basically they're programming us to give up something. And so they have to, the gun is the low-hanging fruit. That's the easiest one to do. But then later on, it'll be something else. I mean, I think Glenn Beck was talking about it. They want control. And how can they control us? They want us all to be inside a city, and they want to take away cars. They want to take away property ownership and home ownership. And, I mean, why would they do that? Because then we have to be totally dependent on the government.
So we were studying communism in history, Karl Marx in the beginning of it, just last couple days in history class, and they were describing that is kind of where we need to go first. Socialism, this concept that, I mean, if they want us to become communist, they have to take away business ownership and property ownership, and that would make sense if that's still where they're trying to steer us, which there's no reason to think they stopped on that
Yeah.
point.
Well, and they also have to take away God.
Right, which they've been doing that
Yeah.
steadily in the school. They've been
Yeah.
trying.
Because in communism, government becomes God.
But I don't think it's just the schools. I think if the parents at home really believe in God, I think that the kids can work through it as long as they talk and communicate together. But you really got to fight it because the narrative in school is strongly
Yeah,
anti-God,
that's
strongly
true. The
humanistic.
problem is a lot of families have two parents who are working full time, and it's like,
They don't get time to
yeah,
talk.
they outsource the education, and they just don't have time and or energy.
Even if you do your best, if you get an hour around dinner time,
Yeah.
it's just barely enough. You just got to really fight
Yep,
it.
I
And the
agree.
kids need tools. Like they don't know. They're getting answer after answer that makes sense with humanism and anti-God stuff. And so to fight all that, they have hard questions that have to be answered.
Say no to gun control. Say no to knife control. Say no to big government. Just say no.
Do the right thing.
That's right. All right. Well, Sarah, something positive?
Yeah,
You
let's
have
do that.
anything positive for us today? Why are you so negative all the time? Go ahead.
Life is serious. It's all right. Charges dropped. Arkansas man cleared in shooting death after self-defense evidence emerges. Searcy, Arkansas. After nearly 9 months of legal battle, the case against 28-year-old James Trenton Barley has been dismissed, with prosecutors acknowledging new evidence that supports his claim of self defense. Barley was originally arrested on November 29, 2024, after the shooting death of his 54-year-old neighbor, Gary Ricochet Knight, in Rosebud, Arkansas. At first, he faced a first-degree murder charge. That was later reduced to negligent homicide. On August 13, 2025, the White County Circuit Court accepted a motion from prosecutors to dismiss the case entirely, from murder suspect to wrongfully accused. Initial reports painted Barley as the aggressor. The White County Sheriff's Office said Knight was unarmed, and multiple witnesses told investigators Barley was the only person who fired a weapon. Based on that, deputies arrested Barley, and prosecutors pushed charges forward. But the story was not that simple. Barley had called 911 himself the night of the shooting and told police he fired only after Knight had threatened to kill him and fired first. He also stayed at his property until deputies arrived. Chris Bryant, Barley's attorney, said that from the start the case was built on an incomplete and misleading narrative. This was a textbook case of self-defense, Bryant said. Our client was attacked and his life was threatened. He acted reasonably under the circumstances, and the decision to dismiss this case affirms what I believed from day one. He committed no crime and lawfully defended his life and the lives of his family. New evidence confirms Barley's story. Months of defense investigation uncovered what prosecutors eventually acknowledged. Knight was not alone, and he was not unarmed. Evidence showed that another man was with Knight that night, and that both a 30-06 rifle and a 9mm handgun were fired at Barley's home, while Knight yelled death threats. Inside the home with Barley were his wife and their 2-year-old daughter. Investigators also found that Knight had a violent history, including a 2017 conviction for aggravated assault involving a shooting. Bryant said, without the defense team's effort, an innocent man might still be fighting for his freedom. Arkansas law is clear that a person is justified in using deadly physical force if they reasonably believe the other person is using or about to use unlawful deadly physical force. There was no duty for our client to retreat or flee because he was present in his home and was not the aggressor. A cautionary tale about rushed judgments. This case highlights how quickly someone defending themselves can be vilified. False witness statements and the lack of a firearm near Knight's body initially drove the arrest. Only after private investigators pressed further did the full truth emerge. Bryant said Barley has endured threats, public attacks on his character, and months in legal limbo. Now he is focused on rebuilding his life and reputation. The family is also considering civil action against those who gave false statements. Mr. Barley did not desire for this event to happen and will be forever affected by it, Bryant said. He has waited patiently for the truth to come to light, despite being publicly vilified based on lies and an incomplete narrative.
Yeah, I guess one of my initial thoughts on this is why we have legal protection.
Mm-hmm.
This is why we have legal insurance. Because, basically what happened here is, what he did, it was cut and dried. It was a black and white case of self-defense, but because other people lied and gave the police false statements, they went after the homeowner in this case. And it's not that unusual. I mean, it happens,
Well,
from time to time.
it's kind of hard to know if it was a lie or if it was just they didn't have all the information.
Well,
but
it's like,
whatever
well,
it
who are you
is,
going to believe, right?
right? But whatever it was, that false information, really.
Yeah.
I mean, he missed his daughter going from 2 to 3. She was 2.
Yeah.
Don't think of all the things he missed over absolutely nothing. He was protecting his wife and
Yeah.
daughter.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. So what's the guy's name again? His name is James Trenton Barley. It reminds me of a saying that I always tell my students. I say, there's justice in America, all the justice that you can afford. Okay. And I'm not talking about bribing judges or anything like
Right.
that. I'm saying, hey, if you can't afford a really good lawyer, a real good legal defense, man, you're going to be in trouble here. Fortunately, this guy, I don't know if he had legal protection or not, but
He did have a lawyer helping him at least.
he definitely had a lawyer.
Investigators
But yeah, and it was the private investigators
that saved the day.
that saved the day
Mhm.
because they're the
Somebody paid for
ones.
those, I wonder.
It cost a lot of money to find out what the truth is. We have legal protection. One of our sponsors, United States Concealed Carry Association.
Yay!
We are all protected by,
Let's test it though.
yeah, well, no, we're not going to test it on purpose, right? But hey, you never know. So the guy's name, James, you are the self-defense show hero of the week.
job hanging in there.
Just by your perseverance.
Yeah,
I
good
mean,
job
first you
hanging in there.
protected your family. You were falsely accused, but you gutted it out. You didn't take a plea deal, which a lot of people do. And, just to keep from going to prison for the rest of their life.
What a mess that would have made.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he wouldn't have got to see his daughter grow up at all if he would have,
Well, the plea bargain too, right? Because then you're acknowledging some kind of gun violence
Yes.
that you did.
Yes.
You didn't.
Yeah,
do.
for me, taking a plea bargain, it would be really hard for me to do that unless I was guilty. Yeah.
Well, yeah.
I mean, if I'm innocent, it's like, okay, if I accept the plea bargain, I'm lying.
Yeah.
I'm saying something that didn't happen is true. My Christianity won't let me do that. But I understand why people do it, because the prosecutor will say, hey, you're going to lose this case. We'll pile on 10 felonies. You're going to go to jail for the rest of your life. But we'll offer you this, we'll drop it down to one charge, and you'll only spend 7 years in prison. If someone is like 30 years old, it's like, well, okay, 7 years. I still have most of my life left. I see why people do that, especially if they don't have any money to get a good lawyer.
It should not be an issue. Like, justice should.
I know it shouldn't. It shouldn't, but it is. So, well, James, God bless you.
Good job
Stay
staying
safe.
in there.
Yeah, you did a really good job. All right, well, Sarah, what's coming up next?
Next, we are talking to self-defense instructor Craig Gray all about training injuries as you age and how to deal with them. Then we'll be speaking with Faye.
I got to interrupt you there. Craig, been friends with Craig for a long time, right? And I think he's like 55 years old now, which is like, 12 years younger than me. But he's in pretty good shape, for a man of his advancing years. But that just recently he had this really bad back injury. And so I've been kind of razzing him a little bit. I mean, just a little, because, he had to have surgery on his back and all of that. And that's why I'm having him on the show so that we can talk about.
So you can razz him about
Yeah. So I can razz him.
Show.
So what's it like to be so advanced in years? And I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Passionate.
I'm a terrible man.
Guy.
I am a terrible man. I understand.
Empathetic,
Yeah. All right. I'll work on it, maybe.
Then after that, we'll be talking to Van Wyn from Georgia about the correlation between drugs and crime in the shootingclasses.com self-defense report.
In the meantime, God bless and stay safe, and don't grow old, because we will be right back.
Two choices.
I know.
I have to get old. Right?
We'll be right back.
Firearms training should be easy. Instructors can focus on teaching and not worry about all the complex paperwork and management behind the scenes. Just pull the trigger and let us do the administrative work. Welcome to shootingclasses.com.
At Center Shot Gun Range, we are passionate about training. Don't know where to start? We offer a 1-hour new shooter seminar to introduce you to the world of firearms and help you find training opportunities specific to you. Concealed carry, home defense, firearm safety, AR-15, private one-on-one training, custom training, or maybe you're on a security team looking to protect your church or business. We even offer weekday morning and evening classes. Center Shot Gun Range has you covered. Start your journey at centershotgunrange.com.
Firearms training should be easy. Instructors can focus on teaching and not worry about all the complex paperwork and management behind the scenes. Just pull the trigger and let us do the administrative work. Welcome to shootingclasses.com.
Attention business owners. Are you leaving your website open to security issues and hacking due to a lack of maintenance or overseas outsourcing? Don't let that happen to your business. Choose experienced U.S.-based website developers that can customize your website to fit your specific needs. Appletree MediaWorks has been growing businesses online since 2009. With over 80 years of combined experience, their team conducts constant research and development to keep up with ever-changing online threats. Your website deserves the best protection available. Call Appletree Media Works today at 877-977-1364 to keep your website secure and grow your business online. Or visit appletree.media.
Avoid danger, save lives, and keep your loved ones safe. If this sounds good to you, you sound good to me. And I'd like to help you do those things. Avoid danger, save lives, and keep your loved ones safe. If you're looking for more excitement in your life, we have nothing to offer you. But if you are a thoughtful, responsible, nonviolent man or woman, we'd love to teach you what to do if something crazy happens. More importantly, we'd like to teach you what not to do. We currently have over 500,000 members. They are doctors and single moms and firemen and grandmothers and veterans and Democrats and Republicans and members of every faith. But the one thing they all have in common is that they know exactly what to do if something crazy happens. When you're with one of our members, you are safe. Our members know how to de-escalate situations. They know how to calm things down. We are the United States Concealed Carry Association. See what we're all about at usconcealedcarry.com.
Discover the little-known backstory of the U.S. Concealed Carry Association at usconcealedcarry.com.
In today's world, safety and preparedness are more important than ever. At Trinity Training and Security, we offer comprehensive training for your peace of mind. Whether you're obtaining your concealed pistol license, mastering CPR and first aid, or engaging in scenario-based training, we've got you covered. We look forward to working with you in one of our classes or bringing the class to your church, school, or business. Need security for an event? Protecting your assets? Our team provides private security, close protection, media crew escorts, high security terminations, and more. Always with discretion and professionalism. With Trinity, safety is more than a service. It's a commitment.
Liberals hate him, small children fear him, but God keeps on loving him anyway. Welcome back to the Home Defense Show with Skip Coryell.
And that was the beautiful and sultry voice of Golden Glenn, the official announcer of the Home Defense Show. Folks, we live in a dangerous world, and I want you to be able to protect and defend the ones you love. And that's why I have this show. It's my way of empowering you to accomplish one of your primary jobs in life. You are a protector and a defender. All right, listeners, before we get too far into the show, don't forget to check out our sponsors, United States Concealed Carry Association, shootingclasses.com, Centershot Indoor Gun Range, and Appletree Media. Without our sponsors, this show wouldn't be on the air, so we thank you all. And now I'd like to welcome a good friend of mine to the show. He's Krav Maga instructor and peace walker and really old man, Craig Gray. Craig, welcome back to the Home Defense Show.
I'm not that old, but thanks for having me.
Well, I thought I'd better have you on the show, before you get too old. And,
right. I'm
actually,
not young anymore either. I mean, I just turned 55 last month, so I'm somewhere in the middle there. I'm not as young as I used to be, but I'm not as old as I could be. How about that?
well, yeah, and I'm older than you are. I have a birthday next month. I'll be 68 next month.
68, yeah.
Yeah, 68. But that saying that they have, you're only as old as you feel. It's like, I'm not sure that's true. Some days,
I don't think it is.
I feel pretty old some days.
Some days I feel half my age. Some days I feel twice.
Yeah. Well, Craig, you're always fun to have on the show. I enjoyed a lot, and I learned stuff too. So, you sent out your almost everyday newsletter, all right? And I almost always read your almost everyday newsletter.
That's all right.
Okay,
I sent out a lot of them.
but just keep them coming, right? But you were talking about recovering from an injury, and I knew that you were no longer 28 years old and that you're starting to, get up in those years, right? And for me, I think I started to feel my age. It was somewhere when I was approaching 50, I think.
Sure.
It's probably different for everybody, but for me, that's about when it happened. And I was still very active. I was still refereeing, college and high school soccer, and I was doing like 200 games a year. So I was, I
Wow.
was in good shape for a man of my advancing years.
Yep.
But then I stopped doing that. And after just a couple of years of not doing that anymore, it's like the law of entropy just kind of took over and my body went to hell in a handbasket. But
Doesn't take that long. I mean, as you get older, it doesn't take that long to have that sedentary lifestyle set in, and your body starts seeing the effects uh, pretty quick. So the injury that you're referring to really wasn't an injury. I had a very extensive back surgery about 5 weeks ago.
okay.
Yeah, so I had
Just for fun, there was no injury involved, or
just for fun. Uh, I
it was on
figured,
your
what,
bucket
I got to
list,
mix
right?
things up a little bit. So let's put the let's level up a little bit. But no, it's I had a back fusion, had three of my vertebrae fused, and what's called laminectomy, where they removed some of my spine to decompress the spinal cord and the nerves. So over when I was, well, kind of backtrack a little bit. Like I said, I'm 55. I started martial arts very, very young. I competed into my mid 30s. I still train. Matter of fact, I train today. Now, granted, we'll put a caveat on that because I'm still in recovery. I'll be in recovery for a while, but I just got cleared to go swimming. So today was my first day that I swam. Previous to that, all I could do after surgery is walk. So no lifting, no bending, no twisting for the next few months. And it's going to be a bit of an extensive recovery. But I had stenosis really bad in my legs and my hips. And if you know what that is, basically it's the constriction of your nerves in your spinal cord and the nerves that run to your legs and your hips.
Is
So
that
my leg,
different than sciatica? Is that different than sciatica?
it is different, but it can have the same symptoms.
Hmm.
Sciatica is typically not as severe if it's only sciatica. Sciatica can be caused by stenosis as well. And there's many different types. Mine is mainly, I mean, obviously I was not kind to my body in my younger days, so that definitely didn't help. But heredity, this arthritis runs in the family, so there's a lot of arthritis in my spine and degenerative disc disorder and whatnot. So lucky for modern medicine, they got me in. The surgery went very well. They expect for me to be near 100% when I'm fully recovered and back doing what I do. I mean, within reason, but also I went in very strong too. I train all the time, work out,
Yeah.
so I wasn't your average 50-year-old or 55-year-old when I went in. Matter of fact, when I gotta pat myself on the back a little bit here. I tell this story to everybody I can. So when the doctor opened me up, because they have to take your muscles in your back and they gotta separate them out so they can get in and do their work on the spine. He's like, your muscles were like a 30-year-old's. He said, so you're gonna feel that. He said a lot of times older, when he works with older folks, they're not very conditioned, so they can just pull the muscles apart, no problem. He's like, I had to like really wrench your muscles, so you're going to be sore. But the case in point is we have an adage: train your body like a soldier, meaning get in the best shape that you can for you in your lifetime, right? Meaning, your life's going to change. You're not the same. Like I'm 55. I don't train the same as I did when I was 18. But stay in shape. Do something, right? Just keep moving. Do
Yeah.
whatever it is that you can do that's not wrecking yourself. So, if you're getting up there in age a little bit, do a little bit of strength training, do a little bit of cardio, do a little bit of stamina, with working with your balance, working with your breath work, mobility, and stretching and flexibility work. So keep it well rounded. Don't kill yourself, but just keep it consistent. Little things
Yeah.
all the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. Maybe the key word there is like balance. Um, because your dad was in the Marines, wasn't he? Am
Correct.
I
Yep.
remembering correctly? Yeah.
You are.
Yeah.
Yep.
I was in the Marines, and the Marines train you a certain way. And basically, they just say, okay, you're 10 feet tall, you're bulletproof, you can do anything that you want. And I remember one of the things that they told us in boot camp, they said, all right, we're going to push you to your limits. We're going to push you beyond your limits. Some of you are going to pass out from fatigue. Don't worry about it because we'll throw water on you, and then your body will come back, and then we'll keep exercising you.
And you can just keep
And
going.
yeah, and just keep going. And to an 18-year-old, that made total sense to me because I thought, oh,
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean, the average Marine is 20. So,
yeah,
take in the Army, I think the average Army uh, soldier is 18 or 19, and the average Marine is 19 or 20, a little older, but still, they're 18 to 20 years old. You're not, 55, or I know you're a little older than I am. You gotta know what season that you're in. Otherwise, you're just
yeah,
gonna wreck yourself. And we get it all the time. And I think right now you're going to be seeing that more and more if you're not already, because combat sports are very popular. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, MMA, these types of contact sports are very popular. And unfortunately, or fortunately, depending how you look at it and depending how you train, a lot of these middle-aged guys are going in like they're 38, 48, and they're feeling like in their head they're 20. And they
hmm,
get in and you can do irreversible damage. I mean, I'm not trying to over dramatize it. If
yeah,
you're not careful and you just go in there, you can wreck yourself to where surgery, you may not be working properly afterwards either. So you gotta get a good coach, get a good system, and use your head on what you're trying to accomplish. If you want to be the next UFC champion, you're going to train different than if you want to go out and just be a protector of yourself and other people. If you want to be the next SEAL Team 6, Navy SEAL, you're going to train differently than if you want to be, the 65-year-old who wants to protect themselves and their family. You
yeah,
don't need to be a Navy SEAL or a UFC champion to protect yourself.
yeah. Yeah, okay. Are you familiar with Toby Keith, that
Yep,
country western guy? He's got
yep.
this one song,
Love that
and
song.
yeah, 'cause he
I
says,
know what
"I'm."
you're talking about.
Yeah, he says, "I'm not as good as I once was, but I'm as good once as I ever was."
Exactly,
And
right?
it's like, that's absolutely true. It's like if I get into a fight at age 68, I know I can go balls to the wall and I can just give it everything that I got. But I know coming out the other side, there's going to be a heavy price to pay. So
Absolutely.
it's because I get injured more easily and I heal much slower than when I was 20 years old. And to tell that to a Marine, it's a very humbling thing to have to admit and to deal with. It's like, hey, you're not what you used to be. You can't do what you used to do. And I just grew up and through my 20s and 30s believing that what my drill instructor told me was true because everyone knows that drill instructors are like God, small g God. And I just believe, okay, you get out of shape. What do? You go out, you run 10, 15 miles, and you just keep going until you're back in shape again. And I remember in my 50s, after a couple of years of not roughing soccer anymore, I had gotten out of shape and I just, well, okay, I need to suck it up and just get out there and just start running. And it's like the first time out, I hurt my back and I go, what is wrong with me? And then, it took like 3 or 4 months to heal instead of like 20 hours.
Right. Yeah, the next day or two.
Yeah, and it was
Great.
terrible. And then sometimes if I have to be careful how I sneeze because it's like I remember the first time I threw
Right,
my
right now
back out.
sneezes, yeah, right now
Yeah,
sneezes are really painful for me
yeah,
with my surgery.
it's terrible, but I don't know. I just I'm sorry. I didn't have you on the air just so that I could tease you. Be-
A crab session of elderly
Ah,
geriatric jujitsu.
I know geriatric. I'd never heard that term. That's cool. I might borrow that. But well, all right. For what's the correct term? Old farts, old people, people no longer in their prime, seasoned adults. What kind of a workout do you recommend for them?
Well, when it comes to working out, I say first just start moving. Walk. Just start walking.
Otherwise, rigor mortis sets in.
Exactly, right? They'll put you in the ground. They assume you're dead. But first, just start walking. And if you need to, depending on where your level of conditioning is or level of health, you may want to go get a doctor's appointment and get a checkout and get a checkup and make sure everything is operating properly. And then just start walking. That's a good start.
Yeah.
And then you can increase that, and it's
Hey,
enjoyable, low impact.
your body will tell you when you're going too far. I've noticed that.
Yeah, stop just before that, right? Just
Yes.
before you start, you can always, if you think of the long haul, you can always go back tomorrow.
Yeah.
So for instance, today I told you it was the first time that I swam in 5 weeks. I'm 5 weeks out of my surgery. I just got the okay last week to start swimming. So I started with 20 minutes, and not even 15 minutes, really. And I was in the shallow end of the pool, and I was just kind of going back and forth a little bit. And when I thought, oh, like I should push it harder, and I thought,
Yeah.
tomorrow I'll do a little bit more,
Yeah.
right? Or today I also went for a walk, so I was walking, I was feeling a little fatigued, and my back was a little sore, probably from the morning workout. So I'm like, okay, I went about half as much. So start off just walking, listen to your body, make sure you're hydrating. If that's working all right, you don't have to do anything crazy. You could just start with simple body weight exercises. Maybe do some squats, maybe do a few push-ups, and then expand from there. But start where you're at. Slow and smooth wins the day. Make sure depending on where you're at with things, make sure you seek medical, I think, consultation with a professional just to make sure you're, not going to have a heart attack or something crazy.
Yeah.
And start off slow and continue to expand it. And like I said earlier, try to be well-rounded. So do a little bit of flexibility training, do a little bit of mobility training, work a little bit with your balance. How do you do that? Lift up a leg, count to 5, lift up a leg, count to 10. Do that a few times. Doesn't have to be complicated, right? Do a little bit with your strength training. So those squats and those push-ups, if you need help with those, maybe you do them against the wall. You do your push-ups against the wall, or you do, rather than going all the way down to the ground with a push-up, grab a counter, put your hands on a counter, and put your body at like 45-degree angle and do some push-ups. If that feels good, then maybe do some more, or do them a little bit more challenged. But breathing is another big thing. Make sure you're breathing properly. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Exhale when you're exerting yourself. But try to think of it as a well-rounded approach to just moving your body.
Yeah. One challenge, probably my biggest challenge, and I don't know. I'm a proud person. Okay. I mean, I don't know where I got that. What's that saying? The few, the proud, the Marines, right? Uh, it's like the few, the proud, the injured, that's basically it now. But, I have trouble stopping, pushing myself and then stopping before I get hurt. And it's like, I've done this like a dozen times,
Right.
but I have this Marine Corps mentality where, no, you can do this, conquer this, and it just gets me in so much trouble. So, but I'm learning now, I'm not totally incorrigible. I work out 3 days a week, and I go to the pool, and basically, I've never been a good swimmer. I sink like a rock. I always have my whole life, right? And part of that is
Marines are part of the Navy, right? So
yes, I know, but hey, a good Marine, he just sinks to the bottom and then he just walks from there, right? But I just what I'll do is I've learned what my limitations are, and that's Clint Eastwood wisdom. A man's got to know his limitations,
yeah.
and I'll swim down, back, down, and then they have a pull-up bar there
Oh, there
where
you
the
go.
diving board is, right? And I used to do, in my even into my 40s, I did a lot of pull-ups, but I started doing that, tried doing that in my 60s, and it's like this is not going to end well. And so what I did is I just started doing like 25 water pull-ups because
Perfect.
it's like half the weight, right?
Absolutely.
and uh and that is working really well for me. I'll just do reps. I just have to remember, all right, when you start to feel a twinge in a
Yeah.
muscle or a ligament or something,
Don't push through
okay,
it.
yes, don't push through it, because I don't know, old age is it's like gravity. It's always there. It's relentless, and it will always win.
It always
That
wins.
that doesn't mean you don't fight it. It just means you fight it with a little more wisdom. Yeah,
Yeah.
smarter,
Yeah.
and with more humility, right?
Absolutely. And think of keep in mind the long haul of your life. You want to be around with your grandchildren. You want to be mobile. You want to, have vacations with your wife and take the strolls for your anniversaries and, think of the big picture, not just unfortunately, when we're online and scrolling through Instagram and whatnot, and you see all these, you see the one percenters trying to sell you their products, the
Yeah.
ripped 80-year-old, saying,
Yes.
"Oh, you need to do or I get a kick out of them and getting a lot of them on these mobility and flexibility training, and they're like, they're they're these young people in like their 20s doing these like super yogic type stuff. It's just not realistic. And it's nothing I'm interested in. I've been there, done that, got the t-shirt, and I'm interested in the long, sustainable, holistic way of living and being able to protect myself, not being a burden on my family as I get older, being able to protect my family, being able to, if called to duty in some way that I can actually do something. You don't have to be an Olympic rock star to do that. You just have to
Yeah.
keep going, be sustainable a little bit every day. Another thing that I do that was inspired by another Marine, Lieutenant Colonel Joe Shushko, who used to run the Marine Corps Martial Arts Center of Excellence. He's the guy who came up with their Force Fitness program and their hand-to-hand. He's one of the guys who created the hand-to-hand combatives program, McMap. And he taught us this 5, 10, 15, 20 routine. So basically, you can pick any exercise in any one of those categories, but oftentimes this is what we would do, and this is what we taught law enforcement officers to do, because you can do it anywhere and you can get a really good workout and you can tailor it to where you're at with things. 5 push-ups, 10 squats, 15 crunches, 20 jumping jacks. And do it for, start off 5 minutes. Just do as many as you can without wrecking yourself. You can always pump it up the intensity if you want, or you can cool it down. And then work your way up to 10 minutes. If you do a little bit of a warm up beforehand, do your 10-minute, 5, 10, 15, 20 exercises and do a little bit of a cool down. You're probably at about 20 minutes, maybe a half an hour. So if you don't have 20 minutes a day to work out, you are just BSing yourself. You're lying to yourself because you do
Yeah.
have 20 minutes. So just like when I was going through the surgery, so had the fusion, had a laminectomy. I was in the hospital for 4 days. Day one was great. They told me, well, day one's the honeymoon. Day two is when all the swelling sets in and your anesthetic is, out of your
It's
system.
wearing off. Yeah.
So day two evening, no joke, it was probably the longest sustained pain that I've felt for that length of time. But I can't imagine somebody being in worse shape or older or bigger than I, because it was everything that I could do, especially in bed. It was everything I could do to move around in bed. And I'm thinking, holy cow, if I was in less shape, or I was fat, or I was, 90 years old, this would be almost impossible. They would have to move me around.
Yeah.
Their little, 'cause they got them. I saw them up above my bed. They've got those little hoist things that they probably hoist around people. But if you want to stay, healthy for yourself and your family, and Lord forbid, if you're ever called to protect yourself or somebody else, you've got to physically have that ability to do it. So, you're not going to be able to all of a sudden get in shape when it's happening. You got to do that every day, right? Best way to stay in shape is to never get out of shape.
Yes, I agree.
Do
People
what
don't
you
want to hear
can
that though.
every day. No, they don't. But just take me. All I can do right now is walk, swim, and then they approved that I can lift 10 pounds. So I can do curls, I can do extensions, and I can do leg extensions and arm extensions. With 10 pounds, that's it. Now,
Yeah.
granted, that is not what I used to do pre-surgery, but do what you can, but just do a little bit every single day.
Yeah.
Or 3 times a week's cool. start off with one, just do it once. And then if that worked out, try to squeeze in twice. And then work your way up to, I'd say, 3, 4, 5 times a week.
Well, now that you are 55, over half a century old, your job is to inspire all of the other people who are out of shape to get in better shape. Part of it,
Just
anyways.
start. Keep it. Just
Yeah,
start.
yeah. Well, and that's the thing, keeping at it, because I've noticed if I go, say 3 or 4 days without exercising, there's a difference. I'm just amazed at how quickly it just goes away. My muscles don't remember the way they used to. My body forgets, what to do. You just lose everything. I mean,
Well, I
you
don't know
lose
if you
muscle
feel it too,
mass.
but you'll feel it in your emotions. You'll feel it in your mood. You'll
Yes.
feel it in, how you look at things, your mindset. So if you're talking about self-defense in that, one of the ground rules of self-defense is don't look like an easy target.
Yeah.
So if you look healthy, if you look like you're paying attention to your surroundings, if you look like you could, even run away, you are a much lesser of a target than somebody who is looking more frail. They're not paying attention to their surroundings and the situation. They're looking weak. So, you know, being physically fit helps you to do all those things. It helps you to stay very acute. It helps you to look like you're healthy. It helps you to be healthy. And if ever you had to like even run away from a circumstance or fully engage for, keep in mind too, it's not the same. And I tell this to people all the time. I used to fight in the ring. I fought in MMA. I fought full contact kickboxing. Started point sparring when I was a kid, and this is not that. Self-defense isn't fighting in the ring. Can fighting in the ring help? Yeah, sure it can, but that's not all of it. Matter of fact, it's not much of it. Most physical altercations are about 30 seconds, 30 seconds,
Hmm.
36 seconds. I mean, if you take the national FBI statistic,
Yeah.
most. uh,
Well, yeah, that makes sense. And one of the things that I do with my students, and I do it more as a wake-up call for them than anything else, because these are like guys that are anywhere from like 25 to like 75, right?
yeah.
And what I'll do is I'll run them through like a circuit course.
Oh
It's
yeah.
like, okay, you have the gun. I think I did this. I may have done this with you.
We did. I know we had to run. He had us running and doing different things
Yeah,
and shooting.
yeah. What I've found is that everyone has different abilities. If you are young, you're still in shape, you can go 30 seconds punching a bag or doing a 100-yard dash, and it doesn't affect your shooting abilities that much.
Right.
Okay. But if you're 40, 50 pounds overweight, you can't bend down to pick up an empty magazine without groaning. Or actually, chain smokers are the worst.
Yeah.
Okay. It's like they punch that bag for 10 seconds and it's like you have to stop them so they don't die right there.
Yeah. I don't
Because
want,
they,
don't want to- hopefully they signed a waiver.
yeah, yeah, they just don't have the lung capacity
Right.
anymore. But a healthy, fit person fights better and they're harder to defeat. So, yeah, stay in shape. What's going on with Peace Walkers now?
Peace Walker stuff is kind of the flip side of the coin of protectors. So the Krav stuff is the physical stuff. The Peace Walker is basically all the other stuff. So Peace Walker is about the mindset, it's about leadership, it's about the de-escalation and persuasion tactics that you might use. It's also a lot of the strategies that you use socially and how to kind of set up a situation for your best possible outcome. Peace Walker stuff's running strong. We've got a lot of programs running right now. Obviously, with my surgery and whatnot, I've had to kind of curtail some things but everything's rolling right along. A lot of people don't realize, I think, either is, so if you're thinking about self-defense and whatnot, first, don't be an easy target. So present yourself to the world like someone who is a protector.
Hmm.
Second is, your situational awareness. So make sure you're paying attention to everything that's going on around you. You're not distracted. You're, looking like you're watching how things are going down. Third thing is understanding that pretty much all the engagements, not all of them, if you're taking like an active shooting event or a counter or a terrorism type of situation, but most, like over 90% of the engagements that we run into, there is a verbal component to it. So you have the ability to de-escalate, you have the ability to maybe talk your way out of the situation. So the verbal aspects of real street self-defense is incredibly important. Also understanding kind of where to be when you communicate, understanding, what your stance is, what your proximity is when you're communicating, or if you had to go physical or draw your weapon or whatever that may be, but the strategic aspects of it. And then obviously if you can't walk, talk, or run your way out of it, maybe you have to go physical, but that's like the last resort. And then even if you do have to go physical, like we were talking about, statistically it's 36 seconds. So you just have to survive 36 seconds. But there's a lot of things that I think older people are a lot more capable of doing that a younger person sometimes isn't, especially a young man, is with your attitude and with your ability to de-escalate circumstances and have a cool head and kind of think your way through stuff and try to guide the situation to a hopefully non-violent end.
Yeah, basically, when I talk to my students, I put self-defense in two categories: hardware and software. And the hardware, would be the gun, the magazine, the ammo, the holster, all the fun stuff we take to the range. And then the software would be the things that you were just talking about: the warrior mindset, situation awareness, your knowledge base, your skill sets, all of that stuff. What I found is that most people, they put all of their effort into the hardware
Yep.
and they ignore the software. But the software is more important because it's like you're using that every waking moment of your life. No matter where you are, you're using the software. And if you have really good, well-honed software, you're less likely to ever have to use the hardware. So I encourage people to focus on the software more. When you need the hardware, you need it really bad. But again, it's a tool of last resort. So how can people learn more about your Peace Walker program?
The best way to get on track with that is go to peacewalker.mn. That's marynancy.co. So peacewalker.mn.co. And that is the best way to kind of get into our community. That will get you into our free network. And there's a couple free courses in there. One is actually verbal communications under stress. And then the other one is a very simple self-defense system that ranges from awareness to the physical aspects of it. And then that will get you involved in the community. That will get you also, occasionally I'll do some free live streams for the folks. There are premium levels of the memberships and whatnot if they want the whole operating system and the full coaching and all that. But a good place to start is just go to the Peace Walker Connect and get into that free community. Again, that's peacewalker.mn.co.
Awesome. All right. Well, Craig, I want to thank you very much for being on the Home Defense Show, and welcome to Decrepitude.
well, thanks for having me, and I'm in good company, so
yes, you are. And Craig, we've been friends long enough so that we can joke like this, but I am very confident that you are going to overcome this. You're going to kick its butt, and you're going to get back in shape, and maybe you come back even stronger. So we'll look forward to that.
My Phoenix project. I like it.
All right. All right. This is Skip Coryell on Home Defense Show. Coming up next, we'll be speaking with self-defense instructor in the shootingclasses.com self-defense report, where we get some expert advice on the details of self-defense. But during the break, I want you to log into rumble.com and search on the Home Defense Show. I've posted a series of entertaining and educational videos there just for you. Check them out, and don't forget to like, share, and follow. God bless and stay safe, because we will be right back.
Firearms training should be easy. Instructors can focus on teaching and not worry about all the complex paperwork and management behind the scenes. Just pull the trigger and let us do the administrative work. Welcome to shootingclasses.com.
At Center Shot Gun Range, we are passionate about training. Don't know where to start? We offer a 1-hour new shooter seminar to introduce you to the world of firearms and help you find training opportunities specific to you. Concealed carry, home defense, firearm safety, AR-15, private one-on-one training, custom training, or maybe you're on a security team looking to protect your church or business. We even offer weekday morning and evening classes. Center Shot Gun Range has you covered. Start your journey at centershotgunrange.com.
Firearms training should be easy. Instructors can focus on teaching and not worry about all the complex paperwork and management behind the scenes. Just pull the trigger and let us do the administrative work. Welcome to shootingclasses.com.
Attention business owners. Are you leaving your website open to security issues and hacking due to a lack of maintenance or overseas outsourcing? Don't let that happen to your business. Choose experienced U.S.-based website developers that can customize your website to fit your specific needs. Appletree MediaWorks has been growing businesses online since 2009. With over 80 years of combined experience, their team conducts constant research and development to keep up with ever-changing online threats. Your website deserves the best protection available. Call Appletree MediaWorks today at 877-977-1364 to keep your website secure and grow your business online. Or visit appletree.media.
Avoid danger, save lives, and keep your loved ones safe. If this sounds good to you, you sound good to me. And I'd like to help you do those things. Avoid danger, save lives, and keep your loved ones safe. If you're looking for more excitement in your life, we have nothing to offer you. But if you are a thoughtful, responsible, nonviolent man or woman, we'd love to teach you what to do if something crazy happens. More importantly, we'd like to teach you what not to do. We currently have over 500,000 members. They are doctors and single moms and firemen and grandmothers and veterans and Democrats and Republicans and members of every faith. But the one thing they all have in common is that they know exactly what to do if something crazy happens. When you're with one of our members, you are safe. Our members know how to de-escalate situations. They know how to calm things down. We are the United States Concealed Carry Association. See what we're all about at usconcealedcarry.com.
Discover the little-known backstory of the U.S. Concealed Carry Association at usconcealedcarry.com.
The mere sound of his voice makes women swoon and men storm the gates of hell. Welcome back to the Home Defense Show with Skip Coryell.
And that was the beautiful and sultry voice of Golden Glenn, the official announcer of the Home Defense Show. And I'm your host, Skip Coryell. Don't forget to check out our sponsors, United States Concealed Carry Association, shootingclasses.com, Appletree Media, and Center Shot Indoor Gun Range for your training and equipment needs. And now it's time for our weekly self-defense report, sponsored by shootingclasses.com. And today we're speaking with firearms instructor. Hold it. You're not a firearms instructor.
I am not.
She is not.
You are, however.
You're not a
I am
firearms
not.
instructor at all.
Nope.
But you know what people have been telling me?
What?
We want more Sara.
Yep. Oh, for goodness sake.
That's what they tell me. They say, we want more Sara.
No.
Stop talking, Skip. Give us Sara.
No.
So that's what I'm doing today. I'm giving the listeners what they want. They want more Sara. So
You want me to say?
I think they just want you to be yourself. Be open, be honest, happy, positive, all the things that you are naturally.
Life is good and God is good. And
Yeah. Okay. That's all true.
yeah, it is. So
World's going to hell in a handbasket, but it's
you
all
know, it
good.
does depend on who you listen to. It does. Because, you know, our garden is going crazy. Our animals are happy. Our children are growing into fine young lady and gentlemen. You know, it's.
Well, yeah. Okay. Look on the bright side.
I stay
then.
home a lot.
All right. Well, Sara, I wanted to talk with you.
Yeah.
This is the shootingclasses.com self-defense report.
Okay.
I want to talk about women and guns, women and self-defense, because I have been studying and analyzing women for, well, about 67 years.
How you doing on that?
And
Got a PhD yet?
No, not even close. If this were a class, I would be flunking.
Hmm.
Okay. But I just don't get it. It's like I worry about you self-defense wise. Okay.
Yeah.
I just do because it's like if I'm out and about and someone tries to hurt me, beat me up, shoot me, knife me, whatever, I'm going to shoot them. Okay. I won't even like hesitate. I'll just do it.
Okay.
I don't think you're the same way, and that concerns me.
That concerns you.
Well, yeah, I don't want you to get hurt.
Well, thank you for that. I appreciate that. You should stay with me and just be my protector.
Well, I can't be with you nonstop.
Well, then there you go.
Well, but you also want me to make a living and,
Well,
get.
that's true. I concede your point. You
All right.
can't always be there.
Why? Why aren't you like me?
If I was like you, how would this work? God made us different. I think that if some guy came up to me totally insane, my first thought would probably be like, "Oh, this poor teenager is having a meltdown," and I would want to heal that. So, like, my first thought would be
Oh,
more
I see.
tree
You would want to heal and nurture.
his broken.
Right. So a sociopath walks up to you
Yeah. So,
with
like,
a crazy look in his eye.
it's first thought, right? So, not like it's thought out, like, but like I have to override that to be like, "Oh, no, he's going to make my children motherless." Okay, like I'd have to like jump to that thought to be like,
Yeah.
"Oh, I have to do something more drastic."
So your first instinct
Would be to
would be to nurture.
Yeah, he's having something seriously wrong with his day or moment or life or whatever, and what does he need?
So can't we
make it
make
better?
this better? Can't we just talk about this?
Yeah,
That's
pretty
the way
much.
you are.
Well, I mean, first reaction. Well, okay, that blended with, I do turn into kind of a scaredy cat sometimes. When people yell at me, I have a problem. So, there's kind of like a fight of those two, but neither of those two reactions are going to make me want to shoot him. So,
Well,
so like I'm kind of worrying between those two reactions.
I'm glad you draw the line somewhere. What would it take for you to be able to shoot a stranger who meant you harm?
You have stories that you tell about men grabbing the children from the mother.
Yeah.
I think that would be where like a little mother bear would kind of pop out with more violence in mind.
Okay.
But then at that point, I would be afraid of hurting my child too. So then that would be what I'd be worrying between is how do I separate this villain from my child without hurting my child? But thankfully that situation didn't come to me when they were little. Now they're big as me. So
Actually, they're more likely
to protect
to shoot the intruder than you are, I think.
The boys for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Oh,
all right, well,
it's a
let's
toughie, though.
let's just
Okay.
take a scenario here.
Okay.
We'll war game. All right. You're in the house. I'm not home. I'm out working someplace.
Is this something that happened a few days ago?
Someone breaks down the front door.
Breaks down the front door.
Yes, they break down the front door. They rush in and they move towards you. Yes or no? Can you shoot them at that point?
Well, if I had my gun with me, but like,
I'm talking about, morally. Do you have the chutzpah to do that?
I would assume so, but I don't know. I've never been in that situation.
Well, neither have I, but I still pretty much know what I do.
I haven't thought it out enough times.
Okay.
I would think so. I mean, if he broke down the door, clearly we're not here having a
Right.
chat. Clearly it's not just I'm having a bad day and I'm wandering around the street. This guy came to my house, invaded, usually in the living room. That's where we do school and eat meals and everything. So that's our like nest space. So yeah, I would feel like that was a threat to my immediate.
Well,
like,
that's about as black and white as it gets.
yeah, that's pretty straightforward.
Because you've got castle doctrine, you've got stand your ground laws, you've got.
Well, and I'd have my children there, surely, or upstairs.
Yeah, that's about as black and white as
Yeah.
you can get.
Yeah.
Let's say you're out walking the dogs.
Well, this is okay.
You're out walking the dogs, and a man pulls up. He gets out, and
He gets out.
He gets out of the car and he walks over and just starts talking to you.
By that point, I would have my hand on whatever it was that was in my pocket of self-defense. If he gets out, like even slowing down is freaky to me, but they slow down to let the dogs not get run over. So people do that kind of commonly. But if he parks and gets out, that's not normal. People don't do that.
Well, that's true.
So if he did that, I would be like, something is wrong with you. I mean, even to stop and talk to me would be weird. They wave. Oh, that's pretty normal. They slow down.
Yeah.
That's pretty normal. It's all polite. That's polite. But getting out, that's threatening.
Okay. So I think what you're telling me is that you're a fear biter. You know what a fear biter is?
I know what dogs fear bite
Yeah,
look like.
that's what I'm talking about. A small dog.
Oh, I'm a small dog
They
in a
don't
big world.
bite because they're ferocious. They bite because they're afraid. And so they
Well,
snip
yeah,
at people
I'm not
and
meant
things
to
like
be
that.
an aggressor. That would make me the villain, right?
Yeah. Well, I just want to make sure you come home at night. That's all. This is something that most men have to struggle with and deal with their wives because we love our wives, but we also know that women aren't like men. And women are just so nurturing, and you like go off the charts. You are so nice that it's scary. Okay.
I don't see it that
No,
way, but
you are very, very nice. I mean, you give me the benefit of the doubt, which is
you
nice. I kind of like that.
heard it.
But I think about it. Okay, does she have what it takes to protect herself? And that's why I don't like you going, to town by yourself or something, because I'm thinking I need to be there just in case somebody needs to be shot. That's the way I think. Okay. But I know what I think. All right, someone tries to hurt your dog, what would you do?
Oh, what do you mean? Like to run over them? I'd get them out of the way.
No, someone comes out and they get out of the car, they come over, they say something angry, and then they start kicking your dog.
Kicking my dog?
Yes.
Well,
What do
I
you
think
do?
they were psycho. There's
Well,
no point to that at all.
What would you do?
I would leave.
You would leave?
Yeah.
Would you leave the dog there?
No, the dog's on a leash. She's
What?
coming with me.
No, but he took the dog. So what do you do?
He took my dog.
He took your dog. He took your dog,
I,
and he
am I
is
allowed to?
beating your dog.
Oh, well, I would probably have to use whatever tool I happen to have with me at the moment and hope it was mace and not something serious because you probably can't actually kill somebody for beating your dog.
You are right. Okay. The law considers, in Michigan, the law considers pets to be property, and you're not allowed to use deadly force to
Protect your
protect
property.
your property. Okay. You could run up and try to take, the dog away, and then he might attack you, then you could shoot him, but I wouldn't recommend that. I would say, honey, let him have the dog. I'll get you a new one.
That's not how that works.
I know. You have all these emotions and stuff that are inside you.
Yeah, so do you.
Oh, I do.
Deep down inside.
Deep down inside, they're lying there, latent, threatening to come out, right?
Threatening to come out. Oh, goodness.
I will kill the emotions. Men have lots of emotions. That's why they get so angry all the time.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, folks.
Which did you want to talk about?
Yeah,
There's just so many ways to go with that.
I don't want all of you men to start worrying about my wife because I'm working with her. And someday I will turn her into a bloodthirsty killer. Just trust me. I'm working on it. Well, let me talk about less than lethal.
Okay.
Because that's becoming very, very popular these days. The other day I ordered a pepper launcher, and they're less than lethal. It's not going to kill someone.
So I can use it on the dog beater.
Yes. You could use it in a lot of situations.
Mm-hmm.
Some guy comes up and threatens you verbally or whatever. Yeah, go ahead and shoot him with the pepper launcher. Would you be more likely to use something like that than a real gun that might kill them?
I think so. I mean, I don't know.
Okay.
I think, and I don't know how much you want to go into this right now, but for me, a lot of the reason that I don't have the tool in the right place is I have a lot of back problems and kind of a small frame. And so carrying extra things is inconvenient, painful. I hit my elbow on it. It's just not nice. It's just one more heavy thing to haul around. And so and I don't know if you quite realize that, but that's
the first time you've ever mentioned that to me.
That's why every little extra weight matters. So like if I'm carrying it around, it's because I really want it. In the summer, like to have that extra, like I don't really have a holster and belt situation. I put it in a pocket of a coat. In the summer, it's like very hot and I don't handle the heat very well. So I have to like just the logistics of how to carry it is really hard.
So we have to work that out.
So we have like a pistol and we have a rocket launcher and we have mace and we have a knife.
Rocket launcher?
What do you call it? I don't know, some kind of launchy thing.
A pepper launcher.
And then plus I'm managing the shovels to pick up their poop and the double leashes to handle the dogs. Plus then I've got this, honestly, my younger dog is a little psycho.
Yes, he is psycho.
He's a little psycho.
Yeah.
So like he sometimes takes two hands all by his little lonesome. So it's just, I mean, just a lot to be hanging on my very bad back frame. So
your dog's a sociopath, but that's okay. That's why I call him
loves
Cujo.
me a lot, and he loves Phoenix. We got him for Phoenix.
And he fell in love with you. I understand.
Loves both of us.
All right. Well, we're going to go ahead. We're going to try out that pepper launcher.
I guess the reason I brought it up was I don't know if there's other women that have this problem, but I imagine that there are.
Trust me, they do. I deal with this all the time in my classes.
The woman frame, I see other women all the time where I'm like, where would you even put a gun on that frame? It's like rolly and squashy, and like, where are you going to put the gun? And it's a lot of times short through the torso. Like if you could put it on a leg, but then you wear skirts and dresses half the time, or sometimes.
Well,
you're trying to real slim and tight, and there's
okay. Slow down. Take it.
Just the logistics is difficult.
All right. I think with the pepper launcher, they're much lighter than a real gun because they're not made out of, heavy metal. So I think
different than a mace.
It's
not a mace.
It's like a paintball gun, a paintball pistol, but the paintballs have capsaicinoid, pepper spray inside them. Okay, so when you shoot,
so it will hurt, but
it'll bruise them, but then the spray comes out and
they'll think that they got hurt really bad when in fact they didn't.
Yeah, it's effective on 80 to 90% of the general population. They also have inert balls, 68 caliber, like marbles, hard plastic marbles that it doesn't penetrate, but it's like, ouch, I didn't like that. I felt that. And they're like 7 rounds in a magazine. So I think you'd be more likely to use that than you would a real gun. Okay. Anyways, I just wanted to discuss that with you because I think the other men have the same problem that I do. Well, I'm glad we had this conversation because I think we got some things hashed out. I understand.
Yes, thank you everyone for listening.
I understand you a little bit better. Well, I take that back. I don't understand why you are the way that you are, but I understand the way that you are. Does that make sense? I just don't know why. It's so much easier just to shoot them with a gun.
Well, I don't think it's all about what's easier. I think it's about we're trying to do what's better.
I'm just messing with
you, honey. Thank you.
All right. Well, folks, we are going to get back with you after we have a chance to test this pepper blaster. They like Saber makes them and Burnham makes them. We'll get back to you. We'll let you know how Sara does with that. Don't use it on me though. Okay.
Okay. Well, don't come out, park the car and start walking after me while I'm walking the dog.
Okay.
That was really creepy, honey.
All right. Okay, folks. Well, that about wraps it up for this week's show. I've had a good time and I hope you have too. Please don't forget to thank our sponsors, CenterShot Indoor Gun Range at centershotgunrange.com, shootingclasses.com to help you find the right trainer for your needs, Apple Tree Media for website security, and the United States Concealed Carry Association. For all your self-defense needs, go to uscca.com. I've written 20-plus books, and they're all available on Amazon.com in paperback, ebook, and audiobook. This week, check out my action-adventure novel, We Hold These Truths. I think you'll like it. And also check out the Home Defense Show videos on rumble.com. And if you want training from me in person, then check out Midwest Tactical Training at shootingclasses.com. Please join us again next week for all your home defense needs as I explain exactly how women tick. In the meantime, God bless and stay safe.
Thank you for joining us this week on the Home Defense Show. Now, get out there and protect the ones you love. We'll see you next week with more of the best.
Bye-bye, boys!
Have fun storming the castle!